Hey everyone, this is Michael again, and welcome to another video. And I said I was going to talk about this new series that I've been watching, and I want to give my thoughts and reviews on it. And that is the new NBC series Timeless. And this is a show that comes on every Monday night on NBC at 10 o'clock after The Voice. And when I first heard about this series, I read the premise to it. I'm like, this sounds really interesting. I'm going to give it a watch. Trailer I saw, really enjoyed the trailer. Thought it was looked really cool, really good looking. But this is a series. This is a show that stars Abigail Spencer, Malcolm Barrett, Matt Lanter, and Joran Visinjink. I think that's how you pronounce his last name. And the show is created by Eric Kripke, I think that's how you pronounce his last name, and Sean Ryan. And Eric Kripke, you all know him, he's the creator of Supernatural, and he also created another series that was on NBC called Revolution, which was canceled after 2 seasons. It lasted from 2012 to 2014. And I really enjoyed that show. That series starred Billy Burke, Tracy Spiridakos, I think that's how you pronounce the last name, and Giancarlo Esposito. Basically, where all the power goes out around the world and takes place in a post-apocalyptic future. I think that's a very underrated series, Revolution. It got a 4-part comic book series, which that's cool. But I think Revolution is a very underrated show. We'll like to give it a watch again someday, at some point. I know a lot of people didn't like it, but I found it really entertaining. And basically what Timeless is about is it follows these 3 people. Follows Lucy Preston, played by Abigail Spencer, who is a history professor. And a lot of stuff is going on with her mother. In the first episode, we find out that her mother is sick, and she has a sister named Amy. Both of them are taking care of their mother while she's sick. But it follows her. It follows this other guy named Wyatt Logan, played by Matt Lanter, who is a soldier. He's a sergeant with the U.S. Army Delta Force. And also Rufus Carlin, played by Malcolm Barrett, who is a scientist. He's a programmer assigned to this time machine called the Lifeboat, which all 3 of them used to go back in time. And so all 3 of them go back in time to try and stop this guy named Garcia Flynn, played by Goran Visinjink, I think that's how you pronounce his last name, who is a criminal, and he steals this time machine that was there, where this place that where I think Rufus is working at, and his intention, Garcia Flynn's intention, is changing American history, and so that's why all 3 of those characters, Lucy, Wyatt, and Rufus, go back in time to try and stop him from changing American history. And basically that's what the whole premise of the show is about. But in the first episode, the pilot, it deals with the Hindenburg disaster. If you all know about, the Hindenburg disaster, which took place in 1937. It's just, and it's basically just those 3 just stopping Flynn from changing, that history. And so that's going to happen in every episode. And the second episode dealt with the assassination of Abraham Lincoln, which happened in 1865. The third episode dealt with them going into 1962 Las Vegas. And then the 4th episode dealt with them going into Germany in 1944. And they discovered that their adventure was inspired a James Bond film in that sort of timeline. And in next week's episode, it also dealt next week's episode, this Monday's episode, deals with them going to and dealing with the Alamo. And then, the 6th and 7th episode. The 6th episode deals with them, handling the Watergate tape, and 7 is called Stranded. So that's all. Those 2 episodes are going to be in November next month. And then one other thing I forgot to mention at the end of the pilot episode is Abigail Spencer's character at the end of the episode comes home. She sees that her mother is, not sick anymore. She's very healthy, but Abigail Spencer's character Lucy finds out that her younger sister Amy, no longer exists, and she finds out that she is also engaged to this guy who she's never met, never dealt with, which probably deals with them, changing the history of the timeline. But my thoughts on this series. I like this show. I really find it to be a good show. I like the characters. I like the settings. The sets are really cool looking. Very well done, in my opinion. I like the style of clothes that they wear when they go back, which is really cool looking. Sorry about that, but I was saying, I like the clothes, the fancy clothes that they wear when they go back in time. I think that's really cool looking. But yes, I enjoy Timeless. It's a show that I would recommend. I mean, it's not, like I said, it's not perfect or great, but it's a fun show to watch, and I think all of you will really like it. If you're a history buff, this is a show to really recommend and watch. So Timeless. I like the characters. All of them do a good job. I know that there was a lawsuit over the concept of the series that was based on a Spanish series, which follows the same plot to this show, which they said that they were being sued for breach of contract and copyright infringement for that. And ratings wise, the pilot got a 1.8 rating when it debuted on October 3rd. And then it had 7 million viewers, which that's really cool. I mean, I was expecting it to get a 2.1, 2.2, because this show comes on after The Voice, and The Voice has a very big ratings share. I know a lot of people love The Voice. Like, The Voice gets maybe 4.0 ratings. It gets in the 4 ratings and maybe 3s. High 3s, but but then the second episode it dropped to the rating was 1.4 with 6 million viewers. The third episode got a 1.5, 5 million viewers, and last week's episode got a 1.3 with also 5 million viewers. So basically, I hope it stays steady like that in the ratings. Hope it doesn't drop, to 1.0, or they're in the zeros, like 0.9, 0.8, because that's cancellation territory right there. If you follow the ratings. So I hope it stays in the low ones. I hope it doesn't go down to zeros, because I really like to see this show continue. Let them go back and look at some other history. Like, I would like to see them do the Martin Luther King, when Martin Luther King was when he did the whole "I Have a Dream" speech, or have them deal with the assassination of Martin Luther King, and let them stop Flynn from changing that history. let that character, see if he wants to change that history or not. So, but like I said, I really would like to see this show continue. So yeah, so I recommend Timeless. It's a good show, fun show. Like I said, not great or perfect though, but I would recommend it. It's, like I said, it's a good show. So, but yes, anyways, that's it for my thoughts and review on Timeless. If you have seen the show, let me know what you thought of it in the comments below. Did you like it? Did you hate it? I'd like to hear your thoughts on what you think of the show. So, yeah, so until the next video, which will be my review of Hell in a Cell, which is tomorrow night. And I'll have my review up on Monday. So, until that video, I'll see you all later.